Hi everyone, welcome to the MaxWellness podcast, where each week we talk to athletes, industry experts and influencers who share their journey, experiences, lessons learned and tactical tips on how to help you maximize your wellness and smash your goals. So this week I am joined by Clifton, who is a personal trainer, aka
health and fitness lifestyle coach.
Bam, and is also a business owner. So we're going to talk to him about his journey, how he got there, about his business, and he's going to share some knowledge with you. So welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are we doing today?
I'm well, actually. It's been a long day, but we're here.
Is that PT life?
Yes, that PT life.
We're just going to say PT. When we're saying PT, what we mean is health and wellness coach and
health and fitness lifestyle coach.
That's what we mean. But just for everyone, we're going to say PT just to make life real easy. Yeah. So yeah, PT life. What time were you up this morning?
6:30 a.m., which is fun.
See, one thing so about this life until you tell them what time you have to set your alarm.
Exactly.
And then they're like, really?
Really? So,
as you mentioned, personal trainer. So how did you become a PT?
Wow. Let's go back nearly 11 years. So I started off, I decided to go to university and study physiotherapy. And then I decided, actually, I don't want to become a physiotherapy. I don't enjoy a lot of the elements of it. So I said, I do enjoy anatomy and physiology and nutrition. So I thought, what can I do with that? To be honest with you, before I even knew about PT, I thought, anyone can do that. You know, just give people a few weights and count. So I didn't really look into it, but then eventually I started to go to the gym. So I was always had a very sporty background. I did semi-professional football, and I did a bit of athletics when I was younger. And then when I started to go to the gym, people used to come up to me and say, can I train with you, or do you want to train me? And I thought, yeah, why not?
Why are your biceps so big?
Yeah, all of that. And then I thought, you know what, let me actually look into PT. And then, yeah, that's how I actually got into PT initially. And then, yeah, never looked back ever since, really.
And obviously off of personal training, you've started your own business, which is Goldson. So if you've listened to episode 3, you actually would have heard me mention your business.
Yep.
Because specifically you started a course. So I have created courses for personal trainers to help them better manage their clients' mental health as well as physical health. And yeah, the story behind that was really, over the years being a PT, sometimes your clients, they come to you with their deepest, darkest secrets or something they may go through, and I had no clue how to respond, how to help, what to say, what not to say. So over the years, I started to understand that actually people come to us as PTs, seeing us 3-4 times a week, sometimes 5, every week, and they start to feel better. They start to gain confidence, improve their self-esteem, all of that stuff. And I thought, there's something in here more than just the physical. So I started to educate myself in mental health. So I did the mental health first aid, adult youth, cognitive behavioral therapy, did all of that, just trying to build my education in mental health. But what really triggered it for me is 2 clients I had. The first one was a lady. I was managing Key West Hotel's gym at the time, actually. Fancy.
Yeah. And then she I didn't know this at the time, but she said to me, she was watching me for like 3 months just to see how I approach my clients, how I'm with people, and especially women. And then she came up to me one day and said, look, I only want 5 sessions and that's it. Tell me what to do and I'll go my way. And I'm like, 5 sessions is not a lot, but I'll see what I can do. I can do my best. And then she, obviously before she came to me, I didn't know she had an emotional distress and some trauma that she'd been carrying through her whole life from her childhood. She's in her 50s now. And then, just seeing how me giving her small goals and how she responded to her achieving them really sparked something in my mind. It's like, wow, like this woman couldn't even run 30 seconds or walk 30 seconds on the treadmill. And then she's like, she had no belief in herself to say, I can do this. And then her seeing that, overcoming those barriers, it made her say, do you know what, if I can do this, then I can overcome these barriers that I have in my life that I've been holding back for so long. And then slowly she was transferring those skills, overcome the barriers, into her everyday life. So in a nutshell, was teaching her transferable skills, life skills. Yeah, so then, cut long story short, after understanding that and she teaching me basically, I decided, you know what, there's something in this. Us as personal trainers or health and fitness coaches, we can really help people mentally and not just physically, even if it's on a basic level, you know, the mild to moderate mental health conditions. So yeah. And then, that's how GoldsonMHFT was formed, really.
Goldson. So I hope you don't mind. You've had your own journey, because obviously I've done the course with you.
Yes.
I went on the course for everyone. It is a fantastic course. I took home, so like, I thought I was pretty good, because obviously that was half the reason why, because I think we'd kind of had this kind of conversation anyway. So you knew I had an interest in terms of the mental health side of personal training.
Yep.
So obviously said, come do the course. I was like, sick. So I came. In my head, you always feel like you know stuff, and then you're like, no, I learned so much on that course.
Oh, I'm happy you did. That's good.
And obviously brought my friend Cass.
Yeah.
He learned loads as well, because he's very much just training. And all of a sudden it made him look at some of specifically his female clients. Yeah. And then, cool, how can I make this an all-round better journey for them, as opposed to it just being their fitness journey?
Exactly, and that's the thing, you know, as I said, you know, in any personal training courses, we're not taught how to deal with somebody or help someone, support somebody that is emotional distress or becomes emotional distress in a session, or we create a 4-week program or 8-week program, and our client's mental state can change or fluctuate throughout those 4 and 8 weeks. And how do you adapt a training program, or how do you adapt as a trainer or your training style to that individual? And that's what I hope these courses that I've created.
Especially with female clients as well.
Exactly.
Menstrual cycle. I remember my course, I don't know if it's any, or again, you were 11 years ago. I think mine was about 12, 13 years ago. Yeah. We never spoke about that stuff on my course.
At all.
And I'm like, in terms of your cycle, in terms of how you program your clients, I'm not going to get one of my clients trying to hit a PB like the week before she's due her period.
Exactly. And that's, over the past year, that's what I've been really adding to my portfolio, is understanding women and how you need to adapt their programs very differently in the different stages of their cycle. You know, certain, like say the lunar phase or whatever, you know, they might not have that much energy. So you need to adapt that according to whatever stage they are in that cycle, you know. And again, we're not taught about anything like that.
Women aren't even taught about that.
Exactly.
I never got taught that in school.
Exactly.
The only reason why I know about it is because becoming a personal trainer, wanting to understand my clients more, and then you're just doing it from the physiological side.
Yeah.
Physiological side. I wasn't even thinking about the mental health side.
Exactly.
Obviously, me as a woman, I know it, but you can't apply it.
But it's funny you say that, because even me speaking to women now about the menstrual cycle and stuff like that, it's like they know bare minimum, you know, because it's not something that you're taught, okay, you have a period, you go through puberty and all these things, and that's it. You know, you're not really...
Menopause done, there's nothing in between.
Done. There's nothing in between.
There's
no different emotions and, you know, feelings that come in different stages, and, you know, how your body feels, you know, you don't really get taught that.
No, you don't at all.
In a, you know, extreme level, so, yeah.
So, talking about mental health and stuff, so you've had your own journey with that. So I remember when I came, that was the gateway that I was trying to get to. So when I came on the course, you spoke about your own journey with that.
Yes.
Are you okay to speak about that on this?
Yeah, of course. I feel like, you know, someone, you know, teaching mental health, you have to be open and transparent, just to relate to certain people, you know. So yeah, I don't mind. So yeah, how basically my journey into also understanding mental health is, I went through, at the time I assumed to be depression, which you could say is a level of depression. Because as growing up, I always achieved everything I wanted to achieve. I wasn't any like crazy smart kid, but I was good enough at the things I got involved in, and always done it well. Never really, as such, experienced failure. So there's a point in my life where I decided to open up my own gym and start my own business that way. Me being an amateur, I didn't know much about business, just winging it as you go along.
I know it well.
And then, yeah, I I invested a lot of money, surveyors, because it was a empty shell of a building, so I had to renovate and everything like that. So I just started throwing money. I was excited. Yeah, I want to do my own gym, have my own business. And then last minute, because me not ensuring people signing contracts and all these things, the landlord decided to pull out and sell. And, you know, on a surface level, you think, okay, that's it. You know, people fail, get over it. But someone that didn't really experience something like that, it really hit me hard. I'm like, what do I do now? And I went to a dark place where I didn't really want to be around people, didn't want to see my friends, family, basically gave up in a sense, you know. And luckily enough, I had supportive people around me to support me with those things. And yeah, I'm where I am today, thankfully. But yeah, it was a hard journey. But in a crazy way, I'm kind of glad I went through it, because I learned a lot about myself, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So yeah, and then now I can relate to other people that I speak to now, my clients that deal with mental health issues or have mental health conditions. So yeah, that's.
Do you find it quite easy talking about what you've been through with other people? Would you prefer to kind of keep it to yourself?
No, actually, now I feel relaxed, because I feel like I'm confident enough within myself and what I've been through, because it's part of my life journey and who I'm become today. And, you know, everything you go through, I believe it's building your reality and your perspectives in life. So yeah, I'm always willing to. It's
funny, our journey is literally so similar. So I think I said this on episode, what would have been 3, is I was the same as you, like pretty much excel. I was never the smartest person in the class. I was always in the top set. So I always got into top sets, all the sports teams that I got on. And it was never on purpose. I was just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to give this a try.
Exactly.
And even when I was like, oh, I'm just going to give this a try, I always came out like pretty much on top.
Yeah.
So then up until it got to a certain point, and then I just got to the point where I was like, I was waiting for that failure. And then everything small, I was just like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah, exactly.
I literally can't deal with this. Let me just, I'm moving away from this. And then I just stopped doing stuff. So what I think is incredible is that you were able to, even after all of that, go, you know what, I'm going to start my own business. And you killed it. Like when we went on the course, we were in the
Chelsea football club.
Yeah. Mate, how did you even wrangle that one?
Just speaking to people and this wishful thinking, this, you know what, I'm going to drop an email, and if they say yes, they say yes. If they say no, then
casual
no.
Chelsea football grounds.
Yeah.
So what is the vision with this course now?
So another reason, because there's many different aspects of why I decided to this is something I need to do, but another aspect I would say is that me redoing my own research and saying, okay, what is out there for personal trainers to help them support more people? And there's hardly anything. I know GPs do referrals and say to someone that goes to a GP and says, I'm feeling low. And then the GP might say, oh, you might have, stress or depression. Why don't you try and go to the gym? But someone that's depressed, the last thing sometimes you don't want to get out of bed, and the last thing you want to do is, I'm going to go to a busy gym and I don't know what I'm doing. That in itself creates anxiety. So I thought, okay, there needs to be more done there. And then they do have a course called preventative anger management course or something like that.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, exactly. And I read what it's about, and it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't equip a personal trainer to support a person, because not everyone has anger management. And
so that's a course for personal trainers to take?
Sorry. So that's a course for personal trainers to take, to be employed by some sort of NHS body to train people with mental health. Exactly. So I was confused, but I said, at least they're trying,
well,
give them that. But again, it doesn't, to me, in my opinion, it doesn't equip personal trainers to support clients. So I thought, I need to do something, or if I can,
And here we are. So where are you going to be taking this course? Have you managed to push it out yet? Because I know you're trying to get it.
So yeah, I've been trying to talk to different people, different organizations. It's not easy, because ideally I would like to partner with NHS and say, do you know what?
Sick.
Because they're stretched as it is already.
Yeah.
And I think us as personal trainers, we can manage the mild to moderate cases of mental illnesses, and then that can be offloaded to the health and fitness sector. And then the people who have severe mental health conditions, like schizophrenia, like chemical imbalances, let's say, because we can't do anything about that in health and fitness. So, and then that can give the resources that's needed to those people that are really severe. And then there's not a long waiting list, and it doesn't cost 11 billion a year as it does now to support everybody, you know? So yeah, just to help out, that would be good, ideally, NHS or any organization that does support mental health.
So basically, if anyone's listening,
yeah,
they need to get in touch,
yeah.
do the damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously we're here, we like to talk about well-being. So well-being obviously encompasses physical, mental, spiritual,
yes,
emotional. So how, like, week to week, how does your week look? So like between your training, between stuff, that time that you take for yourself, stuff like that. And so if someone was here listening to this, they could be like, cool.
Do you know what? My weeks are very, very similar, which I kind of like. I like structure.
Yeah.
So usually I'm busy early mornings from 6:30 or even 5:30 sometimes, till about maybe 11:30, and then I'll go to the gym for myself, and then sort out whatever I need to sort out, do programs or whatever. Then I'm back in the evening, like 4:35, back to my clients. And then between that, I like to read a lot. So I read a lot of books. That's my downtime. That's what I enjoy. So yeah, that's what I do, is work, gym, reading. That's pretty much.
It is a PC life, isn't it? Because I definitely find, as a personal trainer, like, I'm just going to say personal trainer so everyone knows what we're talking about. Yeah. I feel like we need to come up with an abbreviation or something. Trying to find that balance is so easy, especially for me as a trainer, to push to my clients. I need you doing this, I need you doing that, and you've got to do this, and make time for yourself. And I'm looking at myself, and by the end of the day, I'm absolutely shattered.
Yep.
And I've made zero time for myself, giving my time to everybody else.
Well, I think it's important, man, especially you said us as PTs, because it's so easy to just keep rolling and being in this cycle where you're just doing this, you're doing that, you're helping your clients, you're doing that, and then you forget about yourself. Mm-hmm. But your mental health is just as important as anyone else's. Do you know what I mean? Because we are great at giving advice, but to take it to ourselves, terrible,
absolutely awful.
So it's like, yeah, I've tried to understand that, especially through lockdown. That really helped me. I actually got a lot of positives from lockdown, to be honest with you, because I kind of like got my mind right where it needs to be. Got more, spiritually in tuned. As I said, I love reading, so just kept on reading on that. And yeah, just said, you know what? I used the time to really slow down and just focus on one specific thing rather than 1,000 things at one time,
Were you doing online training?
Yes, I was. So I was still working throughout the whole thing, but on Zoom.
It's weird because I found lockdown. I loved lockdown.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's I'm an only child, so I'm very comfortable with my own company.
Yeah, me too, to be fair. And I'm not only child, so yeah.
I just love being in my own company. I was there, I was chilling. Everyone's just like, I bet you're happy to be back at the gym. I was like,
not quite.
Yeah, I want to say I am, but I can't. I'd be lying. I'd absolutely be lying.
No, that's one of the cons, because I got a lot of pros, to be honest. I know I shouldn't really say that because some people really struggled, but I did. But there was some cons where I did get even more anti than I was before. It's like, I was like, this is great. Like I'd have to make an excuse not to go anywhere. I could just be at home. Do you know what I mean? Like it was amazing.
Social life, what?
That I got even worse because after lockdown, I was like, do I really want to go anywhere? Like I'm happy being in my little bubble. But again, you need that balance. Anything in life, every aspect of life, you need balance.
And how do you promote balance within your clients?
So again, with them, it's just like, it's like, I don't promote diets. I don't believe in anything like that. I always promote portion control, for example, for eating. So everything is about balance. It's not one extreme or the other. I don't promote anything extreme at all. So it's just like, do anything you do, try and fit around the lifestyle, the reality you want to create, and then everything else falls into place.
I love that. Fit around the reality you want to create.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm very much like you. I don't know. I don't even like my clients weighing themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
I literally had a client, she came to me the other day, had an absolute meltdown. I can see she's lost weight. I can look at her and see she's lost weight. I don't like to focus on the aesthetics of my clients either because I don't want their accomplishments to be attached to how they look. Mm-hmm. Obviously, how they look is fantastic, but I don't think your worth and how strong you are, how mentally strong you are, how your posture's changed and everything should be attached to a number on the scales. And as we know, obviously weight again, especially women, that time of the month, water retention, weight can fluctuate. I hate. So I love the fact that you've said that. Another thing that I want to ask, obviously, in terms of your journey, like you said, you've had your times where you're similar to me, where you don't really like failing. Yeah. Well, not that you don't like failing, but you just haven't. So you're like, well, life is good. So when it did come, you're a bit like, okay. So what advice would you give to people that are kind of, I guess, at the beginning? It doesn't even necessarily need to be personal training. That at the beginning of a journey, where it's kind of like they don't know what's coming.
I think it's very simple. Just which most people don't do is leave room for disappointment, which I didn't do. You know, I always thought, yeah, I'm going to get everything I want. It's great. I'm going to do this. And then when it does, you know, doesn't go the way you want it to, it's like you don't know how to handle that or manage that. So yeah, always leave room for disappointment. Anything you do, whether that's work, anything in life. And yeah, I think that's the most important thing. And always take control or responsibility for your own emotions.
Nice. And would that be the same advice you'd give your younger self previous to all of this?
Yeah, because I feel like we live in a society as well where everything is detached or outside ourselves rather than it within. And it's like, that made me angry, that annoyed me, this, that. But it's like, yes, things are going to upset you. You know, you're only human, you're going to have emotions, but it's up to you how much you allow those fleeting emotions to manifest inside you. Or how long they prolong. Of course, trauma is a totally different thing. You know, trauma, you can't help that. You know, if you know when trauma hits you, you don't even know, you know, where to start to manage that. But everyday emotions that we feel, sadness, joy, happiness, we have control of that, and how long that tends to last. In my opinion, anyway.
No, absolutely, because one of the things, especially with one of the therapists that I went to, who's, I guess, he's more holistic. You speak about ego. Yes, and how a lot of the time your ego is not yourself. Exactly. I need to be careful. I'm sorry hitting this microphone, otherwise Bruno's going to kill me. Yeah. Your ego is not yourself. Your ego. So, for example, I literally did an entire session with my therapist on road rage. So anyone that follows me on Instagram will have seen my road rage rants. And we did a whole session just on my road rage. And he's like, why do you feel angry? Like, why do you feel attacked? And I'm there and I'm like, I don't actually know, because this person doesn't know me. They're not driving like an asshole towards me because they know me and they think I'm a dickhead and they're like, cool, so I'm going to attack you on the roads. But I'm here, why am I getting angry? And what we discussed, and this led on to other stuff, was that it's your ego. It's your ego, which is, it's not you. And your ego is the same thing that when you see someone, you might make an off-the-cuff judgment of them.
100%.
Especially like you might be in the gym and be like, well, that guy's arms are too big and his chest is tiny. Yeah. Why is his chest concave? He needs to train more back. Yeah. And you're there making judgments on people, and it's not actually you as a person that's making that judgment. It's your ego. Whether subconsciously you don't realize you're feeling attacked, you look at them and you're like, oh, they might be slightly better than me. So you have to find those ways to kind of knock them down a peg or two in your brain.
Yeah, there's a great book I read called The Seat of the Soul. That
The Seat of the Soul.
The Seat of the Soul, yeah.
Right.
And that explains about your personality and your ego, and your soul is different things, you know. And most people operate from their ego. Sometimes as a coping mechanism, as you said, you know, they might feel someone is better than them. So in order to manage those emotions, it's attack. You know, it's almost like a fight or flight sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, definitely understanding the difference does help you manage your emotions for sure, 100%.
So what are your top 3 books then?
Seat of the Soul. Don't remember the author.
Google it.
Yeah, Google it. The Seat of the Soul. The Way of the Spiritual Man, and The Celestine Prophecy.
I've never heard of any of these.
Well, get researching in Google, and trust me, they'll change a lot of your perspectives in life.
Yeah, I feel like we need to make sure we write these down, please. You see when people like, Anne, put them in the show notes. Every time you're on the last one, I'm like, Anne, can we put a picture here? We definitely forgot to put all the pictures up. Yeah. I'll be putting them elsewhere, but we'll try and make a note of those.
Yeah, very good books.
So I wasn't actually going to talk about this, but I also feel like I want to talk about this because this is another element of you. And it's actually, we don't actually know each other through personal training.
No, we don't.
And I haven't even mentioned on this podcast some of my other hobbies. So I like to partake in carnivals, specifically Caribbean carnivals. And that's how we met. Yes. I think I first met you in like Berlin. Like,
that's I'm talking
this would have been years ago.
Because the first time I went was 2014.
It was probably 2014.
Yeah.
Wait, when else did you go?
2014, 2016, I think, at 17, though. I think, yeah.
It's probably 2014.
So, yeah, probably.
2014.
Yeah.
So obviously you like to also take part in carnivals.
I do. You know, me being Caribbean from Jamaica, I like little Caribbean vibes. If you see this guy, so when you go to Caribbean parties, they're called fetes. If you see this guy and his friends in the fetes, they're doing the absolute most. I don't know what
and it's not a bad thing. He doesn't just like to work his biceps, he likes to work his waistline.
Something like that. Something like that, yeah.
So how, again, so obviously you just spoke about your Caribbean heritage.
Yeah.
Again, how I don't know what I'm trying to say. So how do you fit that into day-to-day life? Is like carnival, like for me, carnival's a massive escape. I love it. Go there, no judgment. Everyone's just doing their thing.
Yes, everyone's just friendly. Everyone's on good vibes. Yes, it's nice.
Is that something, would you ever tell your clients? Literally, because my clients are down, I'm like, I think you need to come and do a Juve.
Selectively, because I don't want to.
They don't want to see your behavior.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you know the ones where you're like, do you know, yeah, I can see you in that settings, but some of them is like.
In my head, I feel like everyone needs a Juve party.
100%, but you know, you have to baby steps. You know, maybe one of those, what do you call them, pretty mass or something like that. Then you can't really throw them in Juve straight away.
I feel like you can. So again, if you're listening, everyone, if you don't know what Juve is, so Juve is when you throw like paint and powder. You go in, you're literally partying, you're drinking, paint and powder's being thrown everywhere. By the time you come out, you can't even, no one's going to be able to know who you are basically half the time. And it's funny, my friend Jordan, do you know Jordan? Yeah.
I don't believe, maybe by face, but I'm not good with names.
So Jordan, he put up a really good post. And again, I feel like I'm going to have to reference this somewhere. And basically he was saying, I think the thing that I love about Juve, and I think this is why I got into it, is that there's no judgment. You come out, by the time you leave, no one knows what colour you are.
Yep.
Everyone's just like some form of pink or blue, or if you've gone to a jab, black paint all over you. No one cares about what anyone looks like. When you go there, you're not wearing your nicest clothes. If you go there in your nicest clothes, you're an absolute idiot.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get absolutely ruined.
Yep.
Ruined. So you go there, you're wearing your worst clothes. It's literally the opposite of what you think you should be doing if you're going to a party. You're wearing your worst clothes. You come out, no one knows what colour anyone is. No one knows what you look like. Everyone's just come out, everyone's drunk half the time. There's a sense of freedom. And I think, especially for me, on my journey, there was a sense of freedom that I definitely learned from doing carnivals where I stopped caring.
Yeah, but that's what it is. People go there just to be carefree and just, as you said, freedom and just almost be a childlike for the day or two. Do you know what I mean? And just, because us as adults, we suppress our imagination. We suppress that child self all day, every day. So I think carnival, and especially Juve, you get to be that. You know, you get to express yourself in the best ways you feel possible. And you said no judgment. Exactly.
Why do you think we do suppress that? Because they always say, when, especially again, if you've been to therapy a lot of the time, they'll be like, what would you tell your 12-year-old self? What would you tell your 4-year-old self? What would you tell your 8-year-old self and your 12-year-old self? Because 4-year-old, you don't care.
Yeah, you see a child is the most honest person you could ever speak to.
Too honest.
Exactly.
Do you hear the way my niece speaks to me sometimes? Absolute no.
Yeah, I just think it's over time. And I think, as you said, it's the development of our egotistical self that gets in the way. And the suppression of imagination. It's like, as a child, you can, if you look at a child playing, you know, everything's coming to life for them. And then when you get to a certain age, it's kind of almost like not accepted. And you, as I said, you suppress that and everything becomes so serious and you start focus on everything outside yourself rather than within yourself. And I think that's a big problem for most people in society. And if you do keep that childlike self, there's something wrong with you, according to society. You know, you can't be like that. You can't have an imagination. You can't be overly creative in everyday life. You have to be in a specific sector or sort of, you know what I mean? Why can I not have a great imagination? Why can I not be creative in anything and everything I do?
They say like children, like young children have got the highest IQs.
100%.
And as we get older, because outside influences start to stifle the way our brain works, your IQ gets lower and lower. I think they did a not a test. Oh, I'll call it a test. I can't think what I'm trying to say. Where they gave children children a paperclip.
Yeah.
And then they gave like a 12-year-old a paperclip, a 20-year-old, blah, blah, blah. And I think it was like basically different things you could do with this paperclip. But obviously us as adults, we were like, well, cool, this is the paperclip. I think it's kind of in an imaginary sense, whereas children were like, well, cool, the paperclip could be the size of a house.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden, what their brain could then do with that paperclip became like infinite almost. Yeah. They could just keep doing all these things. And like, again, I think as we get older, those things do get stifled.
100%. A book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich, he touches
Love
upon,
that book.
It's an amazing book. He touched upon that, about our imagination and how it's limiting us as adults, and our pure joy and happiness is limited and suppressed because of and even our success in life is dampened because of our lack of imagination and us basically giving that away.
I feel like once I got into my 30s, I'm not gonna lie, it started to reverse.
I feel like I'm getting it back now though.
Once I got into my 30s, the level of not giving an ish,
yeah, exactly,
like literally dropped. And I look at older people as well, and it seems to get less and less.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually excited.
I think when you get to a certain age, especially like closer to teenagers, between I say teenage like 13 to let's say 22, I feel like we have a very tribalistic sort of mentality because we want to be accepted by certain groups, and that's why everyone else's opinions it matters more than our own, and I think that's why. And then after a while, you're like, I don't care. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't care if I fit in or not. I'm just doing my thing, like enjoying my life.
It almost goes the opposite way. People don't want to fit in. They want to be alternative.
Exactly.
So you spend all these years trying to fit in. It makes me sad because no matter how much you'll tell the 13 to 22-year-olds, it's not going to matter.
It's not.
If someone my age now was telling me when I was 13, I promise you,
exactly.
you don't know. And then you get here and I'm like, nah, whatever. And then you get here and you're like, oh no, they were telling the truth. If only I'd listened. I always say try and learn from other people's mistakes so that you're not making them. There's no point in making the mistakes yourself if you can learn from other people's. It's true. But I also feel like sometimes you need to make your own mistakes.
You do, exactly. Same way with me not experiencing failure or rejection. It's like when you get there, it's like, damn, you know. So yeah.
So what's the next steps for Goldson MFT?
MHFT, so mental health, fitness training.
Bam, sorry.
Yeah. So I guess the next steps would be, again, just to expand, just to collaborate with different people, you know, because I don't feel like I can do this myself. So yeah, just getting out there more, collaborating with organizations and just getting the courses into other personal training courses as well. Because I feel like, yeah, personal training courses are great, level 1, level 2, level 3, whatever. But it's missing that mental aspect of it. And yeah, you need to, as a personal trainer, I think you need to know that.
There definitely
the mind and body in unison creates balance.
Say that again.
The mind and body in unison creates balance. So you can't have one without the other. Yes, you can have a great physique, you can look good, but if you're mentally, you know, in distress, then yeah, you're never going to feel whole or complete.
Absolutely. So I feel like that's a good note to end on. Yeah. So last question, what advice would you give our listeners to maximize their wellness?
Focus on your mind and the rest will follow. Simple as that.
Wait, isn't that a quote from a song?
Is it?
No, I'm thinking free your mind. I ruined it. Absolutely ruined it.
It's all right.
Ruined it. But that was a good one. Yeah. So I want to say thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything you want to share that we haven't yet? I feel like you've covered a lot of bases.
I did cover
We've covered reading, we've covered business, we've covered carnivals, we've covered everything.
Everything, yes.
So I love that. So on that note, we are going to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone, where's your socials?
So everything is Instagram, Facebook is at GoldsonMHFT. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And my website is goldsonmhft.co.uk.
And if you know anyone or you're someone where you're listening to this and you're like, you know what, this is a great idea and you want to collaborate, make sure you get in contact because honestly, like I said, I've been on the course. It was an incredible course. And I'm not just saying this because you and me are friends. Like it was actually an incredible course.
I know how very brutal you can be, so yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. And there's so many take-homes. I feel like the course literally could have been for anyone, but again, 100%, make sure you follow. He's absolutely killing it. And I love chatting to you. Thank you for joining.